So again tadi you pergi ke my website naserdrive1.wixsite.com/916 and then you go to R programming and click on introduction to R, right? So once you click on introduction to R, input the password and then you akan nampak dekat sini lah ada banyak slide dekat sini, right? So we are on slide number 3, variable and object in R, right? Variable and object in R. So now let's go through one by one. So common new user frustration lah in R. So different version of software means that R is keep on updating dia punya version software lah, right? So as we know, the newer version will be launched next month, right? So we need to download a new version of R if you want to have a latest version lah. If you don't want to have a latest version also can, but if your package require a newer version, then you need to download the newer version, right? So then data type problem, so we want to identify whether it is a string or a number, right? Sometimes it put kita nampak macam number, but R identify the data as a string or character, right? So you need to convert it to the numbers lah if you want to use the analysis. And then you need to set working directory, right? So sometimes you want to call the data, right? You need to store your data set in your working directory and call the data from working directory lah. So this one we will discuss later on the next topic lah, on the working directory. So R is a case sensitive, means that small letter X and capital letter X is different, right? So unlike SPSS dia bukan case sensitive. Maksudnya if you put gender, small letter and upper letter pun sama je, right? Dia mesti dia akan detect benda yang sama. But R is a case sensitive. Nanti kita akan tengok what is the difference between small letter X and capital letter X. Right, so get started with R. So we need to open our studio, right, to start with our new script, right? So have you opened your R studio? So if you open your R studio, it should look like this lah, right? Last lecture I dah tunjuk dekat you macam mana I dah tukar console to be on the right hand side and script on the left hand side. So there are two ways to create a new script. So kita akan buat coding kita atas script lah, kita tak terus kepada console, right? Because we want to save our script for later usage, right? So we can go to file, new file and click on our script, right? Boleh? Boleh So another method to create a new script, instead of click on file, new file, R script, you can go to click this icon plus icon ni. Dekat sini dia ada drop down menu. You can click on R script. So dia akan keluar Untitled 2. Right, so Untitled 2, Untitled 1 means that this is the first script a new script that we create. Untitled 2 is a new script that we create after the first one. So another method to create a new script in R, we can click on Control Shift and click on N. So dia akan keluar satu lagi new script lah. So you just type control plus shift plus N, right? So you tekan tiga-tiga button ni dalam you punya keyboard, you akan dapat a new script. Boleh Boleh? So itu cara untuk kita create a new script lah. Right? If you don't want, you can just delete the script, because I'm going to show you starting with the variable an object in R. So now let's start with our syllabus, getting started with R. Right? So we're going to learn about variable and object. So kita nak kenal apa itu variable and apa itu object. And you need to remember, right? We need to remember R is case sensitive. So the X and capital letter X are different. So as I said before lah. So now let's start with the first topic in variable and R object in R. First topic is commenting in script. So commenting in script is very important, right? Because when you do your script, you want mungkin sekarang you understand what is your code is all about, but later on when you open back your script, maybe you will forgot what you have done, apa code yang you dah buat ni untuk apa kan. So that's why you need to put some comment, also put some notes about your codes, right? So to add to comment in R, we just type hashtag. Starting with the hashtag. So this is add a comment header to our code, right? So the symbol of hashtag ni is the comment symbol. Boleh faham? So the symbol of hashtag ni, this is the comment symbol, right? So let's say I letak macam ni. So this is all the hashtag. Starting with the hashtag means that it will not running the analysis lah. Maksud contoh macam 1 tambah 1. Maksud when we click on enter, control enter, or we run the codes, right? So kita akan dapat jawapan 2 kan? So when you want to type a comment, after the code, you boleh letak lah, this is 1 plus 1 code, right? So kalau kita tengok dekat sini, apa yang jadi, 1 plus 1, right, they still akan run the code, run the analysis, the code, right? But belakang code ni dia takkan run lah, sebab this is dia akan understand, R akan understand this is a comment, or this is a note for that code. So what happen if you put hashtag 1 plus 1? So R will not execute any line code lah, this code dia tak akan execute lah, maksudnya dia akan faham. So bila dah ada hashtag ni, maksudnya ini adalah comment, dia bukan adalah code, dia bukan code, so tak payah run. So bila you click on hit run button, dia tak akan jadi apa-apa lah, dia just keluar hashtag 1 plus 1, maksudnya comment 1 tambah 1. Boleh faham? This is a comment function, right? Comment is very important. When you put your code, you write your codes, then you need to understand what is the code all about. Apa maksud code ini? You letak dekat belakang tu lah, right? So code juga boleh ada double hashtag lah, maksudnya hashtag this is a comment, hashtag also a comment. So benda yang sama lah. So anything starting with the hashtag, dia akan ambil semua ke belakang tu, semuanya akan jadi comment, walaupun you letak double hashtag onwards lah. Boleh faham? This is very simple, right? So whenever you want to print, right, instead of just typing 1 plus 1, you boleh letak type print 1 plus 1. So dia akan print jugalah benda yang sama, right? Print ni maksudnya dia akan print lah. Kalau you tak letak pun tak apa, you just letak 1 tambah 1 also okay. Boleh faham? This is very simple, right? Okay, so ataupun you boleh type print you nak letak dalam bentuk karakter Muhammad Nasir Abdullah. So dia akan faham ini adalah karakter, right? With the double quotes dekat sini, ini tu bermaksud karakter lah, right? So what happen kalau you print Muhammad Nasir Abdullah saja? So dia tak faham apa benda tu, right? Sebab ini bukan objek lagi. Kita belum assign lagi apa-apa objek dekat sini. Kalau kita tengok dekat environment, so dia no object assign lagi kan? So dia tak faham. So dia akan beritahu kita, this is error, unexpected symbol of in Muhammad Nasir, right? If you put Muhammad Nasir with the double quote, so dia akan print lah. So this is the value that you want me to print. Boleh faham? Very basic, eh? So now let's look at into object assignation. So you can create variable within the R environment and from files on your computer lah. So R use equal or less than dash. Maksudnya this one this symbol and this symbol to indicate the assigned value to the variable names. Right? Variable names are case sensitive, means that capital X and small letter X are different. Contoh macam I nak tunjuk dekat sini. Okay. Now I nak letak X, small letter X equal to 2. So dia akan letak value 2 tu dalam X. Maksudnya X tu kita panggil object. This is the object or what we call as a variable. Kalau kita tengok dekat sini, dekat environment, so dia dah store X ada satu value which is 2. Boleh faham? This one very simple, tapi kalau you tak faham this one, and it's hard to go further, right? So it's also same as kalau kita tekan X dekat sini, kita run X sahaja, right? Kita run X sahaja, dia akan keluar X 2. So sebab kita dah store value 2 tu dalam X. Boleh faham? So same as capital X less than this symbol, less than dash equal to 3, right? So dia akan store juga benda yang sama, right? If you can see small letter X and capital letter X, so dia ada dua objek yang lain lah, sebab dia adalah case sensitive, right? So now dekat sini ada dua perbezaan. Capital letter X, satu dia store value 3, small letter X dia store value 2, right? So you can use either equal or less than dash punya simbol untuk store the value, store data dalam object or variable. So this one kita boleh katakan sebagai variable lah, but this one dia belum jadi variable because kita belum jadi dalam bentuk data frame. So ini setakat ini adalah object. Right, boleh faham object and variable. Object means that kita belum jadikan dalam bentuk data frame, right, data set. So dia dipanggil object. Kalau kita dah jadikan dalam bentuk data frame, nanti kita akan tengok letih, dia akan jadi sebagai variable lah. Kita panggil benda variable. So X ni, let's say I ambil Y pula lah. Y equal to ataupun less than equal. I suka simbol ini, right, daripada simbol sama dengan, right? So Y equal to 4, right? So kita boleh kali, let's say Y, kita panggil Y dia akan keluarkan 4 lah. So kita boleh menggunakan multiplication juga untuk y multiply with 3 contoh. So kita tahu tadi y adalah 4 kali dengan 3. 4 multiply with 3, so dia akan bagi jawapan 12. Boleh faham? Very simple. I just want you to know the basic one first, right? Before we go further, right? So this is what we call as multiply. Same as multiply 4 multiply with 3 lah. So right, 4 multiply with 3, y is equal to 12. Right, benda yang sama lah. Okay, let's say we put x plus 4. So x tadi kita store, x sama dengan 2 tambah dengan 4, sepatutnya 6 lah. Right, boleh faham? So another assignation value yang kita boleh tengok adalah let's say x1. So remember R untuk object dia should start with a letter, right? Dia tak boleh start dengan numbers. Maksudnya let's say 1y sama dengan kita nak input let's say 2 dalam ni. So dia tak boleh lah. Dia tak boleh start, object tu tak boleh start dengan numbers. Or object tak boleh start dengan any symbol. Right? Ataupun object tak boleh start dengan dia boleh start dengan dot lah. Dia tak boleh start dengan simbol alliance, tak boleh start dengan simbol hashtag, but because hashtag is a is a command. Dia tak boleh start dengan dollar sign, let's say dollar sign tak boleh, but underscore I think okay kot. Wait I try. Underscore also cannot, but dot is okay. Dot boleh, right? Dot boleh, tapi apa yang assignation untuk object yang bagus adalah start with character lah. Any character, jangan start dengan numbers, jangan start dengan any symbol lah. Start dengan character is okay, but for dot I not advise you to use dot as a start for naming object or in R. Boleh So let's say kita tengok x1 sequence 1 to 10, right? So apa maksud dekat sini? x1 sequence 1 to 10 means that x1 dia akan ada berbagai numbers dalam tu. Maksudnya daripada 1 hingga 10. So maksudnya dalam object in R, dia tak semestinya kita store satu numbers. Kita boleh store banyak-banyak numbers, right? So kalau kita tengok sequence ni, apa maksud sequence ni? Kalau nak tengok apa maksud object, this is what we call as function, okay? Sequence, SEQ ni yang kita panggil function. So kita nak tahu apa function ni, bagi tahu kat kita apa kegunaan dia, kita just type question mark sequence, right? So bila kita hit enter, dia akan keluar help file untuk sequence. So kita tengok dekat help file ni, right? Generate regular sequence. Sequence SEQ is a standard generic with default method. So this is base package lah. You tak payah install apa-apa package. It's already in R base, right? So there are several sequence function yang kita boleh guna lah. Contoh macam SEQ, dia punya standard dia is from, to, by, right? So length out, along with. So this is the argument. Dalam ni kita panggil argument lah, right? And the first word dekat depan ni kita panggil sequence. Function, right? Function followed by argument. So argument yang ada dalam ni, apa yang I letak dekat sini? So I letak 1 hingga 10. Maksudnya I boleh skip from, equal, ataupun I boleh letak macam ni. Let's say sequence from 1 to 10. Actually, dia akan bagi result yang sama, right? So, in R, kita boleh skip apa-apa yang by default. Maksudnya, by default, from ni, dia dah tahu dah. Okay, the first value, argument yang you letak adalah from. Dia tak boleh tukar kepada to, right? So, and then kita boleh letak, dekat sini dia ada satu lagi argument, by. By maksudnya, kita boleh tengok apa maksud by. By means number increment of the sequence. Increment of the sequence, let's say kita tengok sequence 1 to 10 by 2. So apa maksudnya? Dia akan skip 1, 1, 2. Okay, lepas 2 tu baru dia akan letak 3, 4, 5. Right? By 2. Maksudnya selepas 2. You faham tak apa yang cakap? Maksudnya by 2. Maksudnya 1 lepas 2 kali number, then number 3 pula kan. Okay, number 3 pula dia akan letak sampai 10. Right? So this is the sequence function lah. So other than that, we can use x2. For example, 1 to 10. Benda yang sama juga. So double dot. Double dot means that benda yang sama dengan sequence function. Right? So kita letak ni, so let's say x2. So benda yang sama lah. So the advantage of a sequence function, we can put by lah, dekat argument by, right? By equal to 2. Maksudnya kita boleh langkau setiap dua number letak, setiap dua number letak, right? Boleh Are you okay? Ataupun kita boleh letak dalam sequence ini, dia ada satu lagi function. Let's say instead of putting 1, 10 ni, maksudnya kita nak 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kita boleh just letak sequence 10. So dia akan letak 1 hingga 10 lah. So that's why in R we are using a lot of function. Right? We are utilizing a lot of function to make our coding more simple, right? Pendekkan coding kita, right? Boleh? Boleh setakat ni? Ada soalan? Because this is very simple, right? Let me go further. So, kita dah nampak dalam satu objek dia boleh simpan banyak numbers, right? Kita dah tahu bukan satu number saja, dia boleh letak banyak numbers. So let's say I want certain number, let's say number 189, 200, 241, let's say 651, and then 981. Contoh, I nak number-number ni dalam satu objek, right? So kalau I nak menggunakan sequence, I need to think a lot lah. Macam mana nak masukkan number ni, right? So it is very unpractical for me. So I want to store these 4 number into object, let's say X object. So what I can do is I boleh guna function C. So let me paste this note first, right? If you want to store more numbers in X, right, in R object, the function C. So this is the function C, close and open and close bracket. So this is what I call as collect, combine or join single R object into a vector of R object. So kita nak jadikan dia dalam bentuk vector. So this is a vector lah. Maksudnya dia mempunyai pelbagai numbers, right? So bila dia mempunyai pelbagai number, kita panggil vector lah. Vector in object, right? So it is mostly used to create vector of number, character, string and other types, data types lah. So for example, tadi number apa I lupa dah. Let's say I letak X lah, small letter X, right? So remember tadi, small letter X, I just store 2 saja dekat sini. So now, I nak menggunakan C, right? I letak 201, 561, let's say lagi satu, 831 and 997. Right? So notice what happened kalau I run again, right? Tadi kita dah run X sama dengan 2. So bila I tekan run, so automatically dia akan replace the old object, the old numbers dalam X object ni. Boleh faham? So tadi 2 dia sudah replace. So bila kita tekan this one X, run X, so dia akan keluar 201, 561 and 831, 997. So if you want to know, let's say kalau kita working with a large data, right? So we want to know how many data are available in this object. So we can type length X. So there are 4 numbers in X object. So dia akan bagi tahu macam tu. So this is the function lah, function length. Right? Again kita boleh tengok balik lah apa function length by typing question mark length. Right? So bila kita type question mark length, so dia akan keluar lah length of an object. Right? So dia akan ada explanation kat sini, you boleh tengok lah. Right? So let's say this is a small letter X. Let's say capital letter X. Tadi kita tengok capital letter X dia letak 3. So this one I think I want to change this one to 1 2 3 4 5 lah. 1 2 3 4 5. Right. So senang I nak monitor. So 1 2 3 4 and 50 contoh. So kita tengok dekat sini capital letter X dia dah ganti dengan numbers lain lah. Boleh? So what happen? Let's say I nak store satu variable, satu numbers, then numbers yang seterusnya mesti number yang repeated. Contoh macam I boleh menggunakan function repeat function. Let's say repeat function 1 to 10. Oops. So apa yang dia buat dekat sini, repeat function ni dia akan ulang number 1 10 kali. Right? If you don't understand, you can type question mark repeat, right? So dia bagi tahu dekat sini, replicate element of vector and list. Maksudnya dia akan replicate the element 1 ni, number 1 ni 10 kali lah. So dia ada beberapa function dekat sini, right? So let's say I nak menggunakan replicate function ni dalam combine function. Combine function means C lah. C ni. Let's say small letter X, right? I letak C 1 2 3 and then repeat 1 until 10 times. So dia akan letak macam ni. So kita nampak X should be 1 2 3 and followed by 1 10 times. Boleh So I dah introduce dekat you dua function and very powerful function which is sequence and repetition. Boleh So dalam repetition ni pula dia ada satu lagi function argument dia kata dekat sini mana tu function argument dia. Kalau kita tengok dia punya example, dia ada each argument. Maksudnya argument ni kat sini, let's say repeat 1 to 1 4 times, maksudnya dia akan repeat 1 4 kali. Kalau kita letak repeat 1 each equal to 2, maksudnya dia akan ulang 2 kali. Maksudnya 1 dia akan repeat 4 kali, dia akan letak 4 kali, dan dia akan repeat lagi 1 4 kali. Boleh Ataupun you boleh letak this one a bit different, right? Kalau you letak double column. Right, double column means that 1 to 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So each by 2. Maksudnya 1 2 kali, 2 2 kali, 3 2 kali, 4 2 kali. So there is a difference between repeat 1 to 1 4 times, each equal to 2, and repeat 1 to 4, each by 2. Right? Boleh? So I just want you to get familiar with the R object first lah, before we go further, right? Sebab kalau you tak faham this one, right? The combine function, the sequence function, the assignation function, repeat function. Next step nanti kita akan confuse kalau kita tak faham this one. So setakat ni boleh faham ah? Right. So now let's look at the next topic, which is R variable. We want to talk about variable. So variable, so data frame are somewhat advanced object in R lah. Data frame have a collection of several object. Dia ada banyak objek dalam satu dataset. So dataset ni kita panggil data frame dalam R. Right. Dalam R, dataset dipanggil data frame. Right, so we will start with a simpler object. A vector can have multiple set of observation. So but each observation has to be the same class. Maksudnya, so kalau kita nak kumpulkan dalam satu objek, dalam satu data frame, dia mesti dalam bentuk satu class. Right, so that's why we need to understand the data types in R. So there are several data types available in R. First is character. Character means the string lah. Maksudnya individual character, nama, address, yang lain-lain yang ada perkataan, semua character. Right? Numeric is any real number. And then kita ada integer. Integer, they are not involve any decimal point. They are the whole number lah. And then we have factor. Factor such as male and female. Ethnicity, Malay, Chinese, Indian, right? So that one is called as factor. Logical, true or false, right? True or false, nanti kita tengok. Date, posit is a date lah, or time, represent the time or date lah. So let's say kita tengok character, the first one character. So character, let's say names, letak Muhammad. Let's say Abdullah. So how to know this is a character? We just type. So ini I tak store lagi kan? Okay. Class names. So dia akan beritahu kat kita, oh, this object is a contain correct character. Boleh faham? Contain character. Kalau you letak, let's say, for example, let's say I letak names 1, contoh, I combine the first one, I letak Muhammad, and then I followed by numbers, I followed by Nasir, followed by numbers, right? So dia still boleh baca this one. So kita panggil names 1. So dia akan keluar, okay, kita ada 4 elemen dalam satu objek names 1 ni. But kalau dalam kita tengok dekat sini, dalam names 1 ni kita ada combination of character, numerical numbers, right? Integer, character, integer. So dalam R, bila kita ada combination of elements, maksudnya character and integer or number, right? So dia akan summarizekan kepada character. Right? Kalau kita tengok class names 1, so dia akan keluar sebagai character lah. Dia tak akan identify sebagai mix. Sebab dalam satu objek mesti dalam satu data type yang sama. Boleh So let's say kita tengok numeric. Right, let's say kita class C 1 2 3 4 lah. 3 4. Right, so this is numeric lah. So numeric very clear. We know that this is a numeric. So integer, right? Class 1 to 10. So this is integer. 1 to 10 means that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is a integer lah. Right, in sequence form. Right, dalam bentuk sequence kita panggil integer. Right. So dalam kelas numeric dia boleh contain decimal point lah. Let's say 3.1. So this is still a numeric lah. Right. So what happen kalau this one is integer? Let's say I create h, object h, c 1 to 10, right, and then followed by okay, kita tengok 1 to 10 dulu lah. 1 to 10. So basically sama dengan atas lah. Right, apa yang saya buat dekat sini sama dengan sini, right? So h 1 to 10, class h is integer. What happen kalau I tambah 1.3? Another object, another element selepas 10. Maksudnya kita tengok dekat sini h, right? So dia ada point dekat belakang, right? So now they become numeric sebab kita ada decimal point. Boleh faham ah? This is very important ah. Bukan saya saja nak tunjuk dekat you. Very important. You need to understand the data type, right? And then dia ada satu lagi data type we call as a logical. Right? Logical, let's say logical kita boleh ada true, false, true, false. So this is what we call as a logical lah. So I forgot to tell you, you can choose any alphabet available to make it as your object in R, right? But you cannot touch capital T and capital F, because capital T and capital F is specifically designed for true or false. Contoh macam ni, let's say class C T F T F, right? So R will understand that T is for true, F is for false. Boleh faham ah? So kita tak boleh nak touch. Kalau kita dah override T is equal to something, then bila kita type T, so they will not understand T as true anymore, right? So that's why you jangan sentuh capital T and capital F. So this is about logical. Logical is very important. Nanti kita akan tengok why logical is very important. And then kita tengok factor. Factor is for example male, female, Malay, Chinese, Indian. So itu dinamakan factor lah. For example, let's say class. So dia mesti ada bentuk satu lagi function called as factor. Factor C, let's say male, female, male, female, right? So this is what we call as factor lah, right? Boleh setakat ni. So kita dah tengok beberapa data type yang very important, right? We need to understand this data type, right? So now let's try to assign. You buat juga kan? I tunjuk ni, you still take note kan? Betul? Right? So I try to explain you the basic R step by step and slowly. So now let's try assign your full name to an R variable called name. So let's say kita type your own full name lah. Let's say I type bentuk name. Let's say Muhammad Nasir Abdullah. Right? So kalau kita tengok dekat sini, class name, it should be character lah. If you put lang name, so dia akan identify sebagai satu character. Sebab kita letak open bracket and close bracket only once. Right? So let's say kita type three separate names. Kita type you punya name juga, tapi in three separate names. So let's say names 2. Right, say I letak combine Muhammad, right, and then Nasir, oops, and last is Abdullah. Okay, so kalau kita tengok dekat sini, I dah letak my name in three separate element. So kalau kita tengok dekat sini, class name 2 is still understand this object as character. Kalau kita tengok lang name 2, so dia akan letak 3 sebab dia akan faham this is three different element dalam object names 2. Boleh ikut? Right, very simple lah. I go slowly tak laju sangat pun. Right, so now, so since you understand, kita setakat ni kita dah belajar apa? The command in R script, right? And then we know that how to command using hashtag, right? And a print function, object assignation using equal or less than dash. So I am prefer to use less than dash instead of equal, because nanti I takut ada confuse nanti. Because nanti bila kita menggunakan logical expression, kita akan dia memerlukan equal, right? So equal tu I takut confuse dengan equal, so that's why I prefer menggunakan less than dash sebagai object assignation. So I think you should practice less than dash as well, right? So dia akan mengelakkan kita rasa confuse later on, right? Dalam subsetting data nanti, right? So kita dah tengok sequence function, we also look into length function, repetition function, and then kita dah tahu beberapa class data type dalam R. We have characters, we have numeric, interval, factor, logical, and dates. Right, dates saya tak tunjuk tapi we know that there is available data types. So let's look at into R as a calculator. R as calculator lah. This is most famous topic in all R books, right? So dalam banyak-banyak R, buku-buku R, semua dia akan tunjuk R as a calculator. So we can use R as calculator, 1 plus 1. So plus means addition, right? 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, right? And 2 minus 1, so dash means subtraction, right? And then we have 2 multiply with 2, so star means multiply. I think you already know this one because you already learned C++ before, right? So it's the same concept, right? Same concept. So let's say 16 divided by 4. So stroke means divide, right? So mean divide. So 2 power of 2. So the symbol, this symbol what you call as tilde, right? Or double star is power, right? 2 power of 2, ataupun kita letak 2 power of 2, benda yang sama lah, power, right? And we have a square root, sqrt, square root of 16, right? So sqrt means square root of 2, right? And then we have log 10. So log means a natural log. So log 10 lah. Log base 10. Right, log base 10. So ABS means absolute. Means if you have a negative 16, right? So it will convert it to the positive value. Means ABS means absolute value. So it will automatically convert negative value to the positive value. Okay, and then we have modulus. Modulus means what? Means we want the remainder of the division. Right, maksudnya 16 bahagi dengan 4 sama dengan 4. Tapi dia no division kan? Division dia the balance of the division tu kosong kan? So let's say 15 divide by 4. 16 divide by 4. So dia akan ada baki berapa? Baki 3. Right? So percentage means modulus. Or reminder. Right? Boleh faham ah? So this is some of mathematical function untuk calculator lah. Right? So this is very useful when you want to do statistics nanti, statistical method, right? Hypothesis testing and so on. So now, since we already know that R can act as a calculator, we can use a division, multiply, square root, log, absolute value, modulus, and so on. So what happen if you have you want to perform this function into a vector? So you can perform function to entire vector of number very easy. So let's say we have x equal to C1, 4, 6 and 8. Right? I store x ada berapa? Ada 4 elemen, which is 1, 4, 6 and 8. Right? So let's say I tambah x plus 2. Tadi kita tengok x plus 2 for a single number kan? Ingat tak? At the beginning, initially I tunjuk dekat you, x I store 2 dalam x, and then x plus 4 is equal to 6. Right? That is when you have only single number, single element. So now you have 4 elements. So 4 elements, so kita nak tambah x plus 2. So what will happen? So dia akan tambah 2 dengan 1, 2 dengan 4, 2 dengan 6, 2 dengan 8. So that's why you will get 3, 6, 8 and 10. Boleh? So now let's say I want to do a multiplication. X multiply with 3. Right? Very simple kan? X multiply with 3. So apa yang dia buat? 3 multiply with 1, 3 multiply with 4, 3 multiply with 6 and 3 multiply with 8. So dia akan dapat 3, 12, 18 and 24. Right? Macam kindergarten punya learning kan? But this is very important. Right? If you don't understand this one, then you cannot do the larger work. Right, now let's look at this is for a single element lah. Kalau you nak tambah for a single element, what happen if you have two vector? Let's say vector x and vector y. Let's say y. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So remember now we have x is equal to 1, 4, 6, 8 and y is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Itu lebih panggil kat sini x and y. Right? If you want to add x plus y. X plus y, what will happen? Apa yang akan dia buat dekat sini? 1 tambah 1 sama dengan 2. 4 tambah 2 sama dengan 6. So dia akan direct addition. Right? Based on the place of the element. Boleh faham? Okay. Now, this is very simple and clear addition problem. Because you have 4 elements in X and 4 elements in Y. So what happen if you have another object consists of 5 elements? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So now, X you have 1, 4, 6, 8 and Z you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. this is a different condition, right? So X you have 4 element and Z you have 5 element. So what happen if you add X plus Z? So dia akan bagi kita warning. Warning message, X plus Z longer object length is not multiple or shorter object length. Maksudnya dekat sini dia beritahu Z ada lebih lah, terlebih elemen ataupun Y is kurang elemen. Tapi dia still bagi kat kita result. Dia bagi kat kita result. Bukan dia tak compute, but dia give us a result. So apa yang result dia bagi? 1 tambah 1 sama dengan 2. 4 tambah 2, 6. Listen lah, tengok betul-betul lah. You need to understand how the operation work. Right? Kita bukan nak belajar mengira, but we want to know how R compute the numbers. Right? So 4 multiply with 2 plus 2 equal to 6. 6 plus 3 equal to 9. 8 plus 4 equal to 12. And suddenly dia dapat 6 dekat sini. Why? Apa yang dia buat dekat sini, dia ambil the last number, dia tak boleh tambah dekat sini, dia tak treat sebagai kosong. Sebab dia are no element. Dia tak akan treat sebagai kosong. Dia akan reverse back to the first place. Which is 5 plus 1 equal to 6. So this is same condition as X multiply with Z. Benda yang sama lah. Right? So what will happen here, 5 multiply with 1. So dia akan letak 5 dekat sini. Right? Dia akan patah balik ke the first element. Boleh Boleh faham? So kalau dia length dia tak sama, dia akan patah balik ke the first element. Right? So what happen if you want to do addition with the characters? So for example, let's say names. Tadi kita dah buat names. In name sama dengan Muhammad Nasir Abdullah kan? So let's say I ambil okay, I plus this one, name plus X. So dia tak boleh calculate lah sebab karakter Muhammad Nasir mana boleh tambah dengan 1, 2, 3. Tak logik. We cannot think about that. Right? So what happen kalau you have another object we call as Q, but you store the object as character, right? But it's still number 1, right? This is 2, let's say 3, 4, right? 4, okay, 4 cukup lah. So ada 4 kan? Mari kita tengok kat atas ni So Q, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you look at the class of Q, this is a character, right? So this is the importance of knowing the data types, right? So kalau kita tengok ni, ini number ni, okay, but kita tak tengok data types dalam R. Actually this is a character, right? So kalau you do a computation, let's say Q plus X. So remember X adalah 1, 4, 6, 8. So it cannot compute this number. Even though Q is number, but we store it as a character. So character plus numeric is error lah. So non-numeric argument to binary operator. So dia tak boleh compute. Boleh faham Boleh faham apa yang saya cuba cakapkan kat sini? Right? Even though Q is contain numbers, tapi kita treat dia sebagai character. So character tak boleh tambah dengan numeric. Right? Okay? So another function that can tell you the class of object, right? Instead of typing class itself, right? You can simply type str function. You can get the attribute of more than just class lah. So instead of class, dekat sini dia bagi character sahaja. Let's say class str x. So dia akan bagi tahu kat kita, oh, this is a numeric. We have 4 element in this numeric, 1, 4, 6, 8. This is a complete information. Instead of using as class sahaja, class function. So dalam class function dia just bagi tahu kat kita, oh, this is the character. Let's say class x. So this is a numeric. So we just type str x. So dia akan bagi tahu beyond that numeric saja, dia akan bagi tahu kita how many length, what is the length of the element dalam the object tu, and then what are the element available. And of course kalau kita data kita elemen yang ada dalam X ni sangat kecil kan, dia akan tunjuk semua lah. Kalau kita ada beribu elemen, so dia tak akan tunjuk semua. Dia akan tunjuk some of the element saja. Okay? Boleh? Ada soalan setakat ni sebelum kita masuk the next topic. So let's say kita tengok satu lagi, strq. So benda yang sama lah, strq. This is a character, and this is how many element are in this character, and this is the element in this character. Alright. So are you okay? Boleh? So before we go further, we can look into some useful mathematical function such as exponential. Exponential, we have exp, let's say exponential of 2. So they will give us exponential of 2. Let's say we want to have a log base 10. Log base 10 is a log 10 2. Right? So tadi kita tengok log benda yang sama juga kan. This is a natural log and this is log base 10. Right? So and then you can put sin 1.23, and then we can have tangents 10 1.23, right? And we can have cosine by typing cos 1.23, right? Boleh? Are you okay? So this is some of mathematical function lah available in the R function. So we can also use rounding number, right? Rounding number. Let's say pi. Pi is having 3.141593. Right? This is the number of pi. Right? Let's say we want to round pi. Right? So dia akan round to the whole number lah. So let's say round pi equal 2 decimal point. So nampak tak dia punya, kalau kita guna R Studio, dia akan bagi tahu kat kita this is the function and how to use the function argument. So the how many digits means how many decimal points, right? Kita boleh type, ataupun kita boleh type round pi digits equal to 3. Saya letak 3 lah. Okay, so this is the use of round function, right? So now let's look at the next topic, which is a comparison operator in R. So this is why I don't like to use equal sign for assigning the object. So let's say 3 equal means that this equal means that equality. So we want to know whether 3 is actually equal to 3. Right? So dia akan beritahu kita, okay, this 3 is equal to 3. Right? This is very important when you want to do a subsetting nanti. Right? So let's say the equality, let's say kita ada x equal 1, 4, 6, 8. Maksudnya x ni tak ada langsung elemen 3 dalam ni. So we want to know whether x contain 3. Right? So dia akan beritahu kat kita false, 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 false. Maksudnya tak ada langsung 3 dalam objek X. Boleh? And then question exclamation mark and equal, right? So this is means inequality. So 3 not equal to 4. Yes, true. 3 not equal to 3. This is false. Right? 3 not equal to 2. So dia tak faham apa maksud tilde dekat sini. Kalau you tengok dalam C++, right, ataupun database, right, we can put exclamation mark or tilde to represent inequality. Right? Or in SPSS also have this function. But in R, we cannot use tilde equal. Boleh eh? So table X not equal to 4. Dia dah bagi tahu kita. So there are 3 true. Maksudnya true ni maksudnya you need to understand table means that we want to table whether it's true or false. Right? True or false. So dia akan bagi tahu kita, alright, table X not equal to 4. So ada 3 elemen dalam X yang tidak sama dengan 4. Maksudnya true. Ada satu elemen yang sama dengan 4. So this is false lah, because we want to know yang tak sama. Right? Boleh faham? So another expression adalah more than, greater than. So we want to know whether 3 is greater than 4. False. Right? So this is not a joke. Alright, this is a very important. If you don't understand this one, then you cannot do subsetting data later on, right? So I just want you to know how to use greater than, more than, less than, or less than equal to, equal, not equal function before you go to subsetting data on the next topic. So we can see 3 is greater than or equal to 4. 3 is less than equal to 4 is true, right? And 3 is less than or equal to 4 also true, right? So kalau kita tengok X, let's say X less than or equal to 2. So dia akan beritahu kat kita, okay, satu value dalam X is less than equal to 2, right? Which is 1 lah, right? And lain semua more than or equal to 2. So we can do a table, right? X less than or equal to 2. So dia akan beritahu kat kita, okay, ini dia akan summarizekan. Instead of listing the value of true or false, dia akan summarize kat kita, okay, ada satu value yang less than 2. Less than or equal to 2. Yang lain-lain semua tak sama. So yang ini kita akan buat dalam bentuk subsetting nantilah. Kita akan buat, kalau if you still remember dalam SPSS, the function of select cases, right? Select cases, we want to select only male, right? Instead of analyzing the whole data, we want to select only male and we want to measure the height of male, right? So we do a select cases dalam SPSS, but in R we can type in single quote by using less than or equal to, equal or not equal, right? So this is the function of comparison operator in R, right? Okay, now since we already know the comparison operator in R, right? So let's go to working with index. So are you okay? Before you proceed, you want to take a 5-minute rest before we go to working with index? Please make a sound. Okay. Alright, kita ambil 5 minit rest, 5.30. Kita akan continue on working with indexes. So working indexes, you need to understand this comparison operator lah, right? Right. So working with indexes, let's say kita try buat new vector. right? C0, right? So this is to create a new empty vector, right? Kalau kita tengok dekat sini, dekat our environment, kita tengok dekat sini, X is containing 4 numbers, 1, 4, 6, 8, right? So when you click on X, we assign X with the empty vector, C open bracket and close bracket. So there are no value or no element assigned to X already, right? So let's say we try to assign a new value to X. Let's say 4, 3, 6, 7, 8, let's say 3, 9 and cukup lah kot. Okay, 6, 7. 7 elemen. So this is creating value vector. So now kita dekat sini kita dah create a value vector X equal to 4, 3, 6, 7, 8, 3 and 9. So in R, right? So if you want to find the position, let's say finding value in X, right? Let's say we want to find position number 1. So we just type X with the bracket 1. So it will appear 4. 4 maksudnya value element number 1. So this is quite different to others programming language, right? So if you are doing C++, right? C++, Python, Ruby and so on. So the value 1 ni adalah value number 2. Position number 2. Right? Position number 1 dekat sini adalah position number 1 lah. Kalau dalam Python or C++, if you put 1, means that you want to find position number 2. Right? In R, there are no position 0. Right? Tak ada position 0. So dalam programming language lain, C++, C, Java and so on, position 0 adalah position number 1. Right? So in R, position number 1 is 1 lah. Right? 4. So let's say we want to find position number 5. Right? So we just type X bracket 5. So it will appear position number 5. So remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So number 5 ni dia keluar 8 lah. Right? So in other software, other programming language, let's say you put X -1. It means that macam Python or C++, -1 means that you nak panggil position yang terakhir, yang first dari akhir, first from the back, right? So means that 9 lah kalau programming language lain. But in R, -1 means that you want to remove number element dalam X, yang element number 1 dalam X. Means that kalau kita tekan sini, dia akan keluar 3, 6, 7, 8, 3, 9. Maksudnya dia akan remove the first element. Right? Means that negative value, right, negative sign yang dalam indexing ni, ini bermaksud kita nak buang. We want to remove that element. Let's say we want to remove element number position number 5. Contoh. So X -5. So remember X dekat sini, kita tengok X balik semula. X ada 4, 3, 6, 7, 8, 3, 9. So nombor 5 ni adalah 8 lah. Right? So we want to remove the element position number 5. So we will remove element number 5. So 8 tak ada dalam ni dah. Alright. So let's say we want to, instead of selecting single element or removing single element dalam object R, we can select several element dalam R, dalam object R. Let's say we want to call in position number 1 until 7, until 4 lah, until 4. So X 1 to 4. So dia akan panggil elemen 1 hingga 4. Right. So I hope you paying more attention on this fundamental code, because this is very fundamental. Right. Kalau you tak faham this one, later on you will find a very hard time to understand the indexing. So let's say we want to find position. We want to jump in the position. Let's say X dekat sini kita ada 4 position number. Let's say I want to call a position number 2, position number 4, and position number 7. Right. So I want to calling element in position 2, 4, and 7. Right. So I menggunakan bracket, indexing bracket, right? And I will letak combine function. Let's say 2, 4, and 7. Right. So dia akan panggil position number 2, position number 4, and position number 7. Right. Boleh faham, Let's say you want to combine again. Let's say you want to combine to calling element in position number 1 to 4 and 7. Right. So what will happen? X bracket, indexing bracket. So we want to find 1 to 4 and 7. Benda yang sama lah. 1 to 4 and 7. So dia akan keluar 4, 3, 6, 7, 9. Boleh? Are you okay? Let's say you want to remove element in position 2, 4, and 7. Right? So we can put X with the indexing bracket. Kita boleh letak negative sign, right? 2, 4, and 7. So dia akan buang elemen number 2, number 4 dengan number 7. Right? Ataupun you boleh letak macam ni lah. This is very improper lah. 2, negatif 4, negatif 7. Benda yang sama jugalah. But is you kena letak banyak kali negatif lah. Right? Boleh? Is it okay? Alright. So let's combine indexing and logical operator. Right? Let's say I want to create a new vector called A. Let's say C 140, negative 50, 20, negative 120, and 240. Right, and B, I want to create negative 24, negative 50, 100, negative 350, and 10. So remember dekat sini ada A equal to 140, ada berapa? 5 elemen, and B also have 5 element. Right, so I want to do a selection. Let's say I want to select number or element dalam A yang positif sahaja. Yang negatif I tak mau, I tak nak. I nak positive number. Let's say this is very small numbers. Small element dalam ni. Kalau you boleh tengok lah ada 140, 20, 240. You simply can type the numbers, right? But what if you have a very large element dalam object, right? So it's hard to identify and type one by one using a single element macam ni, right? So you can use a combination of a logical operator. Let's say I want to select A more than 0. So what will happen, dia akan tulis select dekat sini, dia akan tulis banyak true false, true false, true false, right? But I don't want R to display true false. I want R to display the numbers or element yang ada dalam tu, right? Dalam object A yang more than 0. Right, so what will happen here, I will use indexing A, use select, right, dekat sini. So I will select yang true sahaja. Faham? Okay. So let's say kita tengok satu lagi. We want to know data contain 20. So data set yang mempunyai number 20 dalam elemen. Let's say kalau kita tengok dekat sini, this is very small data. Kita boleh easily to identify lah. Right? What I try to do is, what if we have very large data? Normally kita are working with the large data, right? So I want to select data that contain 20 only. So konsep yang sama, select, let's say select 2 A equal to 20. Benda yang sama. So A select 2, right? So dia akan select 20. Sebab dia ni ada satu 20 saja kan. Let's say kita ada 20 lagi, 20, right? So a bit different lah, right? Okay, boleh? So I think I have a lot more to go, but the time is not really enough. So kita stop dekat sini dulu, creating working with the index. Later on kita akan masuk creating a non-numeric vector and a data frame, right? So data frame is very important. So nanti kita akan tengok the next class, creating data frame or working with vectors and numeric vector lah. Okay. And the next class also kita akan tengok importing and exporting data in R. Okay. I think that's all. Ada soalan tak before we end our session? Okay. No question. Okay.